there, beer tubers. Welcome back to another episode of Maxwell Starr's Buzzed Beer Reviews. We're going to take a look at a new beer from Garrison, of all places. We're going to take a look at their brand new product, India Pale Ale from Garrison. Yes, believe it or not, Garrison has not had a real standard IPA in their lineup before. They had the Imperial Pale Ale for the longest time, I'd say since the 2000 aughts, 2009 at least, probably before that. And that was actually the first real Imperial IPA I had experience with. And at first I really thought it was too hoppy. Nowadays I actually find it, almost on the tame side. It's just really one of those beers that comes in as a litmus test to see how far along I've come along with hoppy beers, personally. Now they actually have this India Pale Ale coming in at 6.5% ABV. This particular one is the result of a long process of selecting the perfect IPA for them. And they've actually released, like last year, they released a series of one-hop beers where they had Citra, East Kent Goldings, and Comet, was it? And even after that, they released test batches, where they released test batch. I've had both of them. I can't remember the names. Garrison. Just taking a quick look on Untapped here. It was. I've actually got a bottle of the last test batch here, and the first test batch I had a chance to try over at the. Yeah, there's test batch 3447, which I had at the St. John Beer Fest back in early April. And then recently they released the last test batch, which is like 3458, I think. I'm really bad with numbers, especially when I'm buzzed. And yeah, 3459. I was really close, actually. Which I had a chance to have both. I didn't review either one of them. I actually have a bottle sitting in the cellar of the 3459. And I'll take a look at that another time. But as a result of a long, lengthy selection process, they've released their new India Pale Ale. And it's exciting to actually see a new standard product from Garrison. I talked to Lee L. Harlock about this one. He seems to think that this beer is even better than Propeller's IPA, which, for me, remains to be seen. So I'm going to take a look at this one. It's cool to see a new product, a new standard line product from Garrison, a brewery in Nova Scotia. On top here, pour this into my Cameron's glass. Oh, get rid of the water that's in the glass. As yet uncertain whether I'm going to post this review. Depends on how I feel about it after I review it. I'm kind of buzzed right now, but I did actually have a chance to have one of these earlier in the evening. Probably the reason I'm so buzzed. 6.5% ABV. I just reviewed the King Goblin. Anyway, let's look at that. So it is pretty in appearance. It has a one-finger head. I think the first bottle I had more. It's got that typical IPA appearance where it's got the orange amber kind of color, which is very appetizing. It's got a mild amount of carbonation. It looks spot on at what I would think a standard IPA should be. Let's go to sniff. So you get this smell. You get this mild, biscuity, pink grapefruit, a touch floral. I'm almost getting more flowers than I am getting citrus. But either one is kind of matched by that biscuit malt. Either way, that is a beautiful smelling IPA. And perhaps it's because I just rinsed out my glass and it's got some extra water in the sides, but it just seems to be a little muted. I'm not going to hold that against the beer too much. One thing is, I really enjoy that smell. Let's put her down the hatch. Yeah. So while you do get this mild underlying caramel malt, a mild sweetness, it doesn't seem to be as quite enough to balance out the amount of hops that they have in this beer. And while it does come across as having this resiny, piney, citrusy hop character, it comes across as it's not having enough malt to back up the hops, in the sense that it leaves this it leaves this hoppy, resiny kind of bitterness lingering throughout your mouth. It forms almost a paste. It's, I mean, it's bitter. I wouldn't call it hella bitter or anything. I would say that it's more along the lines of like 60, 70 IBUs, maybe 65 is what I'm guessing. I do approve of the amount of hops that's in this beer, but I'm almost finding it like it's too much hops for the malt. It's a little unbalanced. Like, believe it or not, like, and I did this as a joke at the St. John Beer Fest. I actually ate a raw hop, like a hop cone. Like, for decorations, they tossed hops all around the beer fest. I picked one up and ate one just to see what it'd be like. And I don't even know what breed of hop it was, but I had a chance to try a raw hop, eat it, and this kind of that pasty, resiny kind of taste reminds me of what it tasted like to be a hop. Like, it's so much hops that it almost loses its flavor and becomes more bitter than anything else. And while that bitterness intensity doesn't pop out like it's huge, the actual perceived bitterness, like if I were to move past that, I get this nice amount of like a floral, citrusy kind of taste. And it's really pleasing along with that malt sweetness. And instead, I get lying over top of this, I get this really pasty, almost numbing kind of sensation about it. It tastes like they used natural hops, and I like that. And I trust Garrison. I know they used real ingredients instead of just extracts to make this, because I mean, extracts really come across as being this almost tingly sensation because it's so intense. But this really comes across as being more along the lines of like using too much hops for the malt, and it gives that kind of raw hop kind of taste. And I think they probably dry hop this in a sense. And it almost comes across as losing its character. And I get this big lingering earthy pastiness in the back of my mouth, like as I sit here and talk. It's still lingering. Like, I haven't taken a sip for this for like a minute, and it's still there. I take another sip. You know, as long as I take another sip, it's fine. But I just get this overwhelming taste of and I don't get that in Propeller's IPA. And you know what? This is the first time they've actually released it as a real product. And maybe they're still working out some of the quirks, and that I can understand. But with this, I find that it needs some work. I'm going to give this a 3.25 out of 5. It just, maybe later, another time, like maybe a few months down the road, I'll take another look at the 6-pack. I love my IPAs. It'll probably be another one I'll buy again. But I'll take another look and see what I think. And maybe I'll post a review. But for the time being, 3.25 out of 5. It's just, that's that lingering, earthy, resiny bitterness that lingers in the back of my throat that's unappetizing. And it's that raw hop character. It's almost tastes like they don't have it balanced quite. They use too many hops for the malt, and in a dry hopping situation. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I'm just a schmuck that reviews beer on YouTube. So, I mean, what do I know? I mean, I have had over 600 different types of beer. But this is my personal opinion, and some other people are probably going to find a different opinion of this beer. But that's just my thoughts on it. I would personally maybe scale back on the amount of hops they're using this one. and then I'll try it again maybe in 6 months and see what I think. Anyway, thanks for watching Maxwell Starr's beer review of Garrison's India Pale Ale. Thanks for watching, folks, and we will talk to you folks later. Cheers.